Welcome back, Legendary Potato here. Today I wanted to kind of explain what a bud is and how it works in Minecraft. So hopefully you guys do enjoy this video. It's going to be a little bit more informative and kind of tell you guys if you don't know what it is. So basically, bud is a block update detection. So basically every block pretty much detects or just kind of tries to update every single time it detects something updates around it. So that sounds a little bit confusing, but what that basically means is that every single block is always checking if it's been updated or not. So let's say we have this block here, for example. So if we update a block around it, so including all the blocks I'm going to put in green here, so if something were to highlight or if something were to update this here, as you can see, any of these are possible spots where this block updates or changes. Just make sure that it does something that it's supposed to. So let's say it's like floating sand, for example, which I'll show later. Then it'll check and say, hey, this is supposed to fall, so the game tells it it's going to fall and do that sort of thing there. So here I have two examples of pistons that are supposed to be updated in a random way. So right here, this piston is supposed to be off. So I'm going to show here that there's nothing underneath it. There's nothing that's supposed to be turning it on right now. It's not supposed to be on at all. And the one over here is supposed to be off, or it's supposed to be on because there's supposed to be a input there. The redstone block actually means it's supposed to be on, but it's actually not. So we can update the states of both of these. If we get rid of the blocks here, it'll update these pistons to change. So if we get rid of this one, as you can see, this one extends, and then if we get rid of this one, it retracts. Now, even though there was no redstone change at all, that was because there was a block update that changed the state of the piston. So the piston checked, hey, the piston's supposed to be in the on position, or in this case, it's supposed to be in the off position. So it said, okay, so we need to change the position of this because this redstone block's here, and there's no redstone block here. So it says it needs to change it. Now it's kind of a weird thing that you can actually use in some maps as well, since we don't have things like the new updates. They have one of those new blocks that actually detects it for you. On consoles, we don't have those yet as the time I'm recording this, of course, so you do have to use something like this if you were to do that. But what that basically means is it detects something around it and kind of changes the state, make sure it's all supposed to be the way it's supposed to be. Now here we have floating sand, like I had mentioned earlier, and so basically what this means is that the sand is not supposed to be floating. There's no string underneath it, there's no tricks going on. This is actually floating sand. There's no like sort of thing in the world where it just kind of cancels it because there's too much sand falling. This is actually just floating sand using a little trick, using grass and flowers and stuff like that. You can actually make floating sand, which is actually really cool. So you can see here as it's supposed to, you know, I guess it has particles underneath it. But what we can do is if we update the block, like this, the game's going to check and say, hey, this sand's supposed to fall as you would expect it. So if we did this, as you can see, the sand falls. The game says, okay, so the sand is supposed to fall, but it checks, does that. Same thing here is that if we were to place a block, say here, it's going to update this sand block, which then updates these two sand blocks, and then it's going to update these three, these two, then that. So it just kind of updates those like that. As you can see there, it kind of does that, creates that sort of thing. Obviously up until the sand limit, until it reaches too much sand to fall, then in that case, and it takes a little longer, but in that case you can see the sand fell the way it was supposed to. Just when we updated that, it just kind of updated the blocks around it, so it constantly updates the ones around it as well. In a situation like this where you have sand that falls, then updates the ones next to it as well. So that's kind of how falling sand works, and that's just pretty much block update detection, just kind of explained really quickly. And that's pretty much how it works. It can be used in some maps as well if you want, like say you have a situation where you want somebody to place down a block. So let's say you have something, so I guess I can recreate this over here. So let's say you have a redstone block and you do this, then you can say, make it so that somebody breaks the block or something, and then when they do that, it activates this, and this can do something as well. So you could have it so it like sets off a trap or something. So you could have it so it like pushes that into like TNT or something, and then it does that, and then you update it, it does that sort of thing, which could be really cool as well. But anyways, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Hopefully it was informative. Let me know if you learned anything from the video, and what you guys think down in the comments below. But anyways, that's all from me. Make sure you subscribe for daily content like this, because I do videos every day. Anyways, have a good one, and peace.